Hi, this is Dr. Ben Morrill. Welcome to episode 124 of Reptile Genetics Weekly. I got caught up on trying to remember what it's like to be a human being and not traveling all the time, and got to actually chill a little bit this weekend after being gone for two. So many of you that do lots of shows, I don't know how you do it. That's amazing. It takes a lot out of me if I go 2 weekends in a row. But yeah, it was a lot of fun seeing so many people. I know Kayla showed some pictures last week. I got this shirt from Troy and Margaret from Balls and Strikes. Got that from Daytona. Got to have breakfast with them. Was nice to get to know them better, and that's something I'm not great at remembering. So any of you that are going to shows, be like, hey, I heard sometimes you go to breakfast with people or you go to dinner. Help me set stuff up. I'm not great at remembering or being good about that kind of stuff, but it's definitely nice to get to know so
Please remember.
Yeah. Kayla sends me reminders too. She's like, you should take pictures. You should do this. You should do that. And I'm like, yeah, I'll try. But then usually I don't do a very good job. So anyway, thanks, Margaret. It was nice. And this is some of Margaret's artwork up here. So if you're at a show where she's at, she's painting Morph Market trucker hats and various different pieces of artwork. Very cool to see that too. Awesome animals and awesome artwork. But yeah, so many awesome people, some that I had never met before, some I hadn't been to Daytona since 2019, so before COVID. So there's a lot of people that I got to see that I hadn't seen since the last time I went to Daytona, and they don't go outside of Florida shows, so that's the only way I get to see them. So yeah, very, very cool. I got to meet Jim Sargent for the first time in person. He goes to lots of Texas shows, and I still haven't been to a Texas show. But yeah, he came to this one. He's been doing blackheads for years, and we did an episode a while back with him, talking about some lavender albinos and ultramels that he was working with, and some interesting results. But anyway, definitely nice meeting so many people between the two shows. It was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it. But yeah, it was very tiring. I was pretty blasted last Monday. I was very, very tired, but anyway, definitely a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it. Nice to see so many of you. If you were there, let us know in the comments. And if you're going to go, we'll talk a little bit about the other shows we're going to, but any of that, let us know. Hey, I want to grab a beer. I want to grab a coffee. I want to go to breakfast or dinner or whatever. Let us know if you're going to be there and want to meet up. We'll start doing a better job of setting that up a little more officially. Because I definitely enjoy getting to know all of you better. Let's see. So today we're going to talk about panels quite a bit, and kind of the two main subjects are when it's really useful to use a panel. When there's information that you want to get, and a panel might be the best way to get there. And then also, if you see something weird, that's actually the main way that we learn and find new things. Like NOCO special, and like we'll talk about butter, how it was people getting weird results on their Blue-Eyed Lucy panel that helped us be able to track down the fact that butter is its own mutation. And so anyway, we'll talk about all those kinds of things as far as what they have to do with panels, and how it really, the feedback from all of you. 3 years ago, there was like just this colubrid sex determination test. We didn't have anything. And then 3 years ago in October, so I guess a little less than 3 years ago, we had like 7 or 8 tests. So this is still very new. And so we'll talk a little bit about that, how important it is to get feedback from all of you, and how we can help you if you're doing a panel and you don't feel like for sure what you have still, and send us a picture and talk with us, and we can work through it with you and help figure that out. So we'll talk about all of that. And then as far as panel results, as we said, if we have volume pick up, then we'll start doing them quicker. So before we were doing them about once a month. Well, you all came through with volume, and so we're going to do that much quicker this time. It'll just be 2 weeks in between runs. So we just did some less than 2 weeks ago. The next panel results will probably come out about Tuesday-ish, next Tuesday. So about a week from when you're seeing this. So it'll be almost exactly 2 weeks since we did the last one. So, and if the volume continues to be like that, we'll keep it going. Obviously, the volume's a little higher right now because so many babies are hatching out, but we also are coming through with new tests and things. So hopefully we can keep the volume up at a level that we can keep it going. And maybe we can even get it down to a week. 2 weeks is really nice. If we can get it down to a week, I'd like that even better. So that's our goal. And you all are helping out. Thank you so much for using the testing. And we really appreciate that. Love seeing it do as well as it has. And we'll keep designing new stuff and keep it coming, hopefully faster, and maybe eventually even be able to lower prices again. We'll see. But as long as the volume keeps going up, we'll be able to keep making new stuff and making it faster and more efficient and better and cleaner and all of that stuff. So yeah, definitely great in the 3-year time period to see it grow as much as it has. But yeah, that's kind of what we'll be talking about. And then your sample update. And that's what I've got. Kayla, how are you doing?
Doing good. I was thinking about how, like, this time last year, panels took probably every 4 to 5 weeks, sometimes a little longer. And that was pretty good for us at the time. Like, that was more cutting edge. And I remember you were working even harder before we were able to, like, expedite it more. So that's the fact that we're getting it down to every 2 weeks now and possibly getting even faster soon is just really, really good. So
yes, and more tests on the panel, the large panel.
yeah.
As we've talked about many times, it takes a little time to add new things to it, but we're up to 49 now, and I don't think it'll be too long. We'll be up to 60, where we'll have 60 on that big panel. So I can't tell you if it'll be, exactly this date or whatever, but it won't be very far out. We'll have a whole bunch we'll be able to do. So
awesome. I'm dreaming of the day when we can have enough colubrid tests to have like a colubrid panel. Well, for your species, it's not really going to be, you know what I mean? But
corn panel, a hog
corn
panel. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that'll be so good. So let's talk about the next 2 shows that we're going to now that Ben's finally had a chance to rest. In basically half a month, we're going to Colubrid Fest in September, which I am, of course, very excited about. And we're actually doing or Ben mostly, is going to be doing like a genetics 101 type of thing, like a primer and also a Q&A session at Colubrid Fest. So that's us first thing in the morning. And Zach Loafman was sweet enough to like schedule us in a really nice time slot too, because if it's after lunch, the like, oh, I want to sleep thing hits. So
honestly, last year I thought, man, like you're expecting reptile people to be there at 9 a.m. and sit there for like 6 hours listening to talks, or 7 hours, whatever it is.
yeah.
But it was amazing last year. Like people were there at 9 a.m. The seats were full, and in the afternoon, even more seats got added, and they had the workers there at that place had to bring in more chairs and stuff. And yeah, it was amazing. It was really, really good. There's really, really high quality talks. I really enjoyed. There's one especially on egg binding. I think that was Zach Whitman. Yeah, that was awesome. He had some really good experience and pictures and information about egg binding. I think specifically in colubrids, obviously at Colubrid Fest. Yeah, it's a great. I would love to see this kind of a setup. There's a few other places in herpetoculture where we've tried to do something similar to this, but I think that the mix they've got going on is a really beautiful one. Some really good talks on Saturday, and then a reptile show that's colubrids only on Sunday. It's really, really cool.
It's so cool. Like I'm so excited about this emerging colubrid diseases and best quarantine practices. The scariest talk of the entire day. And then Jeff Galewood and John Rice talking about keeping your snake collections disease free. Like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. I'm terrified preemptively, especially because I work in wildlife rehab and like emerging diseases around here. And also, like I'm always terrified of bringing something home to my snakes. Yeah. So, we're going to be so scared. It's awesome. But yeah, so we're going to that. Yeah, exactly. And then of course we're going to Tinley, and I'll be there. It'll be my first Tinley. I'm so excited. I'm probably going to walk away with a blood python,
A blood, huh?
Yeah, no, I've decided I want a big. I think getting a retic is probably a pipe dream for me, because if I do it, I want to like rehab my whole dining room into being an enclosure, but I think it's a pipe dream for now. But I still want a big thickums, and I feel like a blood python is the perfect kind. So
Well, they're thick, all right.
yeah, exactly. Like big female, nice high red. Like I'm thinking of like raspberry golden eyes, like really pretty. But we'll see. Uh,
Cool.
yeah. Let's talk about our topic for today. When would you want to use a panel? So Ben, I'm going to let you take the lead on that one.
Yeah, so 2 years ago, this is the thumbnail we had, and we were talking a little bit about various results, and obviously you can go back and watch this and see some of the cool results people got from all white snakes. But even if you're breeding a clown to a het clown, but that's they're both yellow belly, or one's Mojave and one's butter or whatever, you can end up with white snakes and not even know if you have a clown. Like, you're used to being able to visually tell if you have a clown, or if you have a pied to a het pied, or het pied to het pied. Like, which ones are pieds and which ones aren't. But in the case where you hit an all white snake, which, maybe that's the case because that's in your parents, or like we've seen many times, people didn't even know. We did a video a little while back with Justin Kabelka where he ended up with a white snake, and he didn't even know he had blue-eyed Lucy on either side, but they were both Russos. They had shared lineage, a few,
it was like
pairing back.
3 or 4 generations back, I think.
Yeah, and ended up that had Russo in both of those animals, and he had held them back because they were the really nice ones. Well, they were really nice because they were also Russo, and so he ended up with white snakes. Did a blue-eyed Lucy panel, found out, oh, they've both got Russo. So that's a big reason why, whether it's blue-eyed Lucy or yellow belly complex. There's also sometimes where people are like, hey, this kind of looks like Cypress, or kind of looks like Wookiee or chocolate. Maybe I'll run a spider complex test, find out if I have something that's in the spider complex. There's so many different looks and things like that. So that's a really good reason to do that if you think you might have something in one of those complexes. And then another one we have is the all recessives panel. So that's obviously a way you can find out what your snake's got hiding.
Yeah, for sure. And I haven't been getting guys. Okay, I'm going to the side here. Y'all got to send me when you get cool results out of this all recessives panel. Like, shoot me an email, send me pictures. I don't get nearly enough. I love when people do that because I like to share it on our social media. So please do, because these panels are cool. You guys get amazing results. Also, you can just tag us on our social media. That works too. But yeah, they're cool. I want to see what you're getting.
Yeah, and there's times, there was one not that far back, I think it was a month or two ago, where someone got an animal not really expecting it to be het for, maybe she expected it to be het for like one thing, but when she did a panel on it, ended up being a triple het. So
yes, we love it.
Like one or two of the morphs that it was sold to her as, it didn't have, and then it had a couple others. And so anyway, but yeah, that all recessives panel, if you've got snake hiding something, that's a way to find out from all the recessives we do have tests for.
For sure. And then of course we got our big multi-panel. And part of the reason we're talking about these panels is because we've gotten some weird, well, not weird, it's that we've gotten unexpected things, and that has led to really cool findings on our part that benefit the community. Yeah, let's talk about the big one, our nice panel that this time last year we were taking 3 to 5 weeks to do 30 tests. Now we're doing 49 tests in 2 weeks. So
yeah, so all the results that went out a week ago, I guess it was only a week ago that those ones went out. They got 49 results. And one of the things that happens sometimes is maybe one or two or a few don't work the first time, and it'll say rerun. So that was another thing I just kind of mentioned shortly. If we're running 49 tests, there's a chance that some of them aren't going to work the first try. So if it's something important to you, just reach out and be like, hey, it was a rerun for bamboo. That was one I really wanted to know, and we'll try to get it to you real quick, do a fast test for it. Sometimes the shed's bad and like most or all of them are reruns. And in that case, we either need a new shed from you, or we could try a second time. And now that the testing's a little faster, that's not as big of a deal. But when it's like, we're running every 4 to 5 weeks, if we have to wait to do another run, that's like a month out. And then if it fails again, then you gotta, wait even longer. So anyway, getting the testing faster with higher volume helps. But if you've got a rerun or multiple reruns, reach out to us, say, hey, do you need another shed? Or like I said, if there's one in particular, like I really needed to know about VPI, or I really needed to know about clown, we can, get that fast tested for you and get the result to you in a couple of days.
For sure.
That's another thing we can do there.
Yeah, and Sean's really good about that. Shoot him an email at the little banner I just dropped there. They'll definitely get you the hookup. Because if we can run more tests, it's more cost effective for us. So literally, let us help you out. If you've ordered something and you really need those results. So yeah. So butter is one of the things that we had highlighted there. So tell us about one of the more recent examples of this that kind of led to a really fun adventure on our end.
Originally working on the Blue-Eyed Lucy complex, we had lots of samples come in labeled both as butter and lesser, and they all tested the same. They had the same mutation. And so we thought butter and lesser were the same thing. But then here recently, within the last 6 months, we had a couple animals come in, one from Beth on the top there, and then the bottom one is rodents and royals. So the one on top only tested, one copy of Mojave, and the one on the bottom, I think it was Russo Phantom. It was Phantom.
Yeah, Phantom.
That one tested for, but nothing else. And they're like, well, here's the pictures. So that's one thing we always, like I kind of said in the beginning, the intro to this, if you see something weird that doesn't make sense, let us know. And so both Beth and I believe it was Eric from Rodents and Royals that reached out to us and said, hey, your Blue-Eyed Lucy panel says only Mojave, or in Rodents and Royals case, only Phantom, but it's clearly a Blue-Eyed Lucy. And so we were able to take those two sheds and dig in deeper. And we found out that, especially the animal from Rodents and Royals, and now a couple others as well, but the one from Rodents and Royals was purchased from Bob Vu, the adult that made it. And then Bob Vu bought that animal directly from Mark and Kim Bell, which are the ones that started butter. So that's how we learned, okay, butter, there is a separate mutation for butter. It is its own thing. And it's just the samples that we are getting, it's a very small part. If we go, Mark and Kim Bell have sold lots through the pet store chains. So if we went to people's houses and tested them, maybe we see a lot of butters that way. But when we look at, what we get from breeders, it's a lot more likely to be a lesser than it is a butter. But that way, because of you customers giving us feedback, say, hey, I got a weird result, and can you help me figure this out? Then we were able to find butter. And now we've got a separate test for that. It's part of our panel. We can help people know a little bit more about the cool animals they're working with, and specifically which line they've got, whether they're a lesser or a butter.
Exactly. Which I love that. I love that the butter believers were vindicated. I love a good alliteration. So, of course you got to lean on that, but that's as good a reason as any. If you get some weird or frankly disappointing results on a panel and you're like, that just doesn't make sense, reach out to us. And these are just some of the examples of why you'd want to use a panel. And so we want to share those with you guys. And it can get cheaper for you if you order through Clutch or Morph Market. You can get 15% off when ordering through them. It doesn't say it it doesn't always say it openly, but when you go to order it, when you go to checkout, there's the it's automatically taken off, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
When you go to checkout.
So yeah, we are very thankful to both Morph Market and Clutch for all they've done. They believed in us from the very beginning, and we're very thankful. And they're awesome in being willing to offer this for people that have been ordering through them and continue to do so, get that 15% off. And then one other thing I wanted to mention, when you're getting panel tests done, we have some people, maybe you buy an animal from a pet store or off Craigslist, or it's an animal that this person bought and that person bought, and then you got it from them. And there's not a lot of, knowledge about the ancestry or the specific pairing it came from. And so you decide to do a panel, you do a full panel. Well, in some cases, we've got, on that now, we've got 49. But of course, with ball pythons, there's a lot more mutations, a lot more morphs out there than those 49. And so in a case where you pay for a panel and maybe you only get one hit or no hits, and you're like, hey, I know this is something, but it's, negative, or it's only telling me. And we had one that just came back as Enchi, and the customer sent a picture, and we're like, oh, that's a banana Enchi pinstripe, at least. Maybe it's something else. And then he's able to Google. He's like, oh yeah, that must be what it is. But we don't have a pinstripe test, and we don't have a banana test. So those are coming. I hope in the next, month or two, we can have at least one, if not both of those, along with several others. But if you just shoot us a picture, let us know. We know which ones we have, which tests we have, and which ones we don't. And we can look at your animal and be like, oh, we can't test for, this or that. That could be what it is. And so definitely don't hesitate. We want you to have a good purchase experience. We want you to be able to get the information you need. And if it doesn't come in the test results, maybe it's something we can't test for yet, then shoot us a picture of the animal and let us know, and we'll do our best to help you figure out what's going on. And then, we let that customer know, hey, we could have a pinstripe and or a banana test here in the next month or two. And once we get it, we'll run yours for those and let you know for sure what you got. So feel free to reach out anytime.
Awesome. Thanks, Ben. I really appreciate that. And thanks to everybody who watched today. Again, if you get cool panel results and you just want to, scream it to the heavens, scream it to me in my email down here. Let us know what you get. And, we love being able to work out the mysteries of our favorite reptiles genetics with you guys. So thanks for joining us. And thank you for those of you who help to contribute to our work. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. That way you can follow us for whatever we find next. And I guess we'll see you guys next time.
Like we said many times, can't do it without you all ordering tests and sending in sheds for new tests. We love it.
Definitely. All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.